and have enjoyed the weekend so far. Although we do have one more day left. So today I want to talk about social settings, especially when living the type of lifestyle that I live and coming from the background, the culture of which I've been brought up in. So first and foremost, many years ago, I used to consume what most majority of people consume, which is, the variety of different meats, fish, dairy, eggs, that sort of stuff. And for many years now, many years now, I've adopted a different way of living, which is a plant-based lifestyle. And then over the last couple of years, I've changed from plant-based to a raw plant-based lifestyle. And in between these timelines, I have also had my fair share of experiences with the different varieties of fasting, such as raw foods only, fruits only, juices only, water only, and complete nothing only, so no food, no water. And I guess growing up, I did a lot of going out, partying with my friends, with my family, and when we have special occasions, whether it be birthdays, weddings, christenings, and even funerals, there is always food there. That is always the centerpiece of most occasions. And even when you meet up with friends to go to cafes or just meeting up in general, food is always the centerpiece. And over the past couple of years, that's changed for me quite a lot. So the places where the special occasion places that I would normally go to, I would either opt out of eating anything there because there isn't what I would prefer to have, or when I've been invited to go certain places such as restaurants or whatever, I usually will decline the offer. And the declining of the offer isn't because I don't want to be there necessarily. It's just more because I can see that the main agenda is just food. So many times I've gone out with my friends. They know the type of lifestyle that I live, and I would say that they're pretty used to how I show up. So usually it would be, I always say to them, I'm not going to eat. They would usually ask if there's any particular place I would want to go, but I always say no. I'm always going for the actual social factor of seeing people, actually seeing people, not seeing people and being distracted by food. Because food and also liquids, they do alter your state of being, whether you want to believe it or not. And if you have your reservations about that, maybe go a few days without consuming anything, and then when you actually get to that point of cleansing your vessel enough, you can actually see what your way of being is actually meant to be without the influence of food. And if we can say that everything is a reaction, a chemical reaction, then just know that the foods that you're consuming is creating the reaction inside of you, which creates a different state of being. So, you know, when I'm out and about, or if I do go to any sort of occasions, it's always interesting for me to just be there, be present, and I guess, you know, I'm a natural observer, without judgment. I'm just a natural observer. I like to observe, I like to just watch, I like to just see what's going on, and food is really comforting, and I can say that from someone that used to eat a lot of food. You know, over years I've definitely lost a lot of weight, or waste I should say, and you know, when your body is in a state of cleanliness, your body's so intelligent that it won't get rid of anything that it doesn't need. Like, if it needs it, it will keep it. If it doesn't, it will go. And you know, just through the programming, and just through social factors, and just through people being people, you know, we all may have our desires to look and feel a certain way, but I feel like it's more so the look that is overriding the way of feeling. If you're feeling emotional, depending on how you're feeling, it depends on maybe what sort of food you'll consume for comfort. But we seem to have lost the way of consuming for true nourishment and for healing. So give me a moment. But you know, for me, and as well, another thing I'll mention is even when I'm in places where there's food that I used to consume, I never feel the urge to eat it. And the question that I normally get is, don't I miss eating, let's say, meat, for example? Don't I miss eating chicken, or whatever it may be? And my answer is always no, because I didn't get into this with a target of, you know, being this way. I want to be a predominantly raw plant-based eater or anything like that. It was more that my body got to a point of cleanliness that it naturally wanted more of those healthier, nourishing foods. And actually, even back then, when I knew about what I do now, I actually kind of pushed it away, and I said I'd never do that because I like this too much. But you have to realize we are compromised of trillions and trillions and trillions of cells that is our makeup. And when all those trillions and trillions cells they get online and they get a true taste of how feeling good feels, they naturally want to have what makes them feel good. And believe it or not, I never came into this through, you know, I was forced into this. It was actually a natural choice for me. I have free will. I have free will to eat whatever I want. and do whatever I want. So I guess for me, it's a little bit different to those that maybe have that may live a similar lifestyle to me, but they only came onto this lifestyle through health health problems. But one thing I do know is that in every culture, they all have their special dishes, their main dishes. A lot of people may not attend a certain place if there's no food. You tell people, oh, actually, I'm having a party and there's no food. It'll be interesting to see who actually attends. Maybe they will stuff themselves up before they get there, and now they're feeling lethargic and tired. Or maybe they won't stay that long because there's no food to distract them and to indulge in. And something else I've realized is, even through conversations, and I see people socializing with one another, there's either food in their hand or drink in their hand, and they're fully distracted, like it's just the comfort that they're just not present. And being present is a present within itself. And I guess for me, even more recently, I've definitely dived into a lot more dry fasting, so I'm not even consuming anything at all, but I am literally fueled by this life force energy that is circulating and that is all around us. And my body is now being able to switch over to this fuel source, and it's been able to utilize it very, very well. And a good example of that was last night when I was in bed. It was the first night for a long time that I closed the window. I usually have the window open all the time, and obviously there was a buildup of CO2 in the room as you're breathing in and out, and I just felt a sudden urge to drink. But I'm usually in a dry fasted state until, if any time at all, it's usually till the evening if I do consume anything. And I thought, oh, that's weird. And I thought, let me open the window. And long and behold, before you knew it, within a space of 5 minutes, that urge to have a drink definitely subsided, and I was no longer interested necessarily for it. So yeah, it's something I've realized is I get so more from so little. I get so much more experience of this life that I'm living with less input. And less input is less input inside of this vessel, and less input inside of probably everything else I'm doing. And when you're not spending so much time cooking, like, you actually have a lot more time to be doing or to be. And I definitely can appreciate the smell of good food, the smell of drinks and all these sorts of stuff, but it's never really enough for me to be like, I want it and I want it now. Even when if I'm making foods in my dehydrator, which usually takes hours to make something, I've made pizzas in there from nuts and seeds grounded down, and that usually takes 19 hours just to create the base. Because it's a dehydrator, it doesn't cost very much to run. It might be like about 3p an hour. So basically a dehydrator is almost like an oven, but you can get to extremely low temperatures. So I think the lowest it goes is like 30 degrees, and the highest it goes is up to about 75 degrees. So I usually would make or prepare foods in there at 45 degrees, and at 45 degrees Celsius your foods are still living. They've not been killed of its or deprived of its nutrients and its enzymes, the life force energy within the foods. But yeah, it takes hours to do, but I'm never in a rush. So for me, even food is a sacred, very sacred time for me, where it's not rushed. It's most of the time in silence, depending on where I am, which is usually at home or at my partner's. And yeah, like I never rush my food, and that's something that I probably used to do all the time. Even working out, I can work out without eating food or drinking. I've done a half a marathon without consuming anything at all, and just ran without any training. Like my body is just changing a lot, even now. And I guess I don't really know, because I can't see what's happening internally, but I can definitely feel how I feel, and how I feel feels good. So yeah, that's about it really. I don't know if I've got anything else to really say. Kind of just wanted to talk about social setting. So if you're someone that's maybe fasting or felt the call to fast, then I'm here to tell you that anything's possible. But for me as well, when I went through my juice fast phase, okay, give me a moment. It's gonna make a bit of noise. When I went through my juice fast phase, I lost a lot of weight all of a sudden. Not all of a sudden, it was about 2 stone in the space of 7 months. But obviously the people around me were concerned, such as my family. I was losing weight. I guess they didn't know what I was doing. Maybe I was the first one that they knew of that did so long of a juice fast. It probably was. Maybe they thought I was going crazy. I'm not sure what they thought, but I can see why they would think that, especially from someone that used to eat quite a lot. Maybe they thought I had some eating disorder, all these things. But one thing that remained intact was my frame of mind and the way that I felt, and I stood true to how I felt, and there was nothing that was knocking me off. Even when I heard people saying you're losing loads of weight, and probably was very concerned about my health, because I stuck to what I was doing, and I definitely was feeling good throughout that whole process, making my juices daily. This was during lockdown, so I wasn't working at the time. Over time, those people that were around me, they also decided to jump on a juice cleanse as well. And there's like a few phases that happen before great change. You'll get those that maybe like watching, and then you'll get those that may ridicule it, and then you'll get those that accept it as well after a while. And not ridicule it in a bad way, like to say, I don't know, maybe. So yeah, and you've got to get used to, so if you're attached to your physical vessel, then just know that if you're overweight, yes, you're going to lose weight. If you're underweight, you're probably going to lose more weight. And before you get to that point, that breakthrough point where things are just stabilized and normalizing, it might look ugly. And that's something you've just got to be prepared to do. So yeah, it's a whole transition. You're being stripped from the inside out. And yeah, if you need motivation, inspiration, some insights, want to know about some tools that you can use, I'll definitely say check out my Instagram posts. Go to the earlier ones, and then you'll see my whole, I guess, my juice fast journey, And then I also have a juice fasting playlist on YouTube that you can check out as well. And I was gonna make another point. Oh yeah, and another point is something that always happens no matter where I go, and I never really say what I do, but sometimes it's hard to. I always answer the question, so I never be like, oh, this is me and this is what I do. But sometimes I'm in places where there may be food, but there's nothing for me necessarily there, and I won't eat. And then people might say, oh, are you not eating? Sometimes I might say I'm fasting, or sometimes yeah, it depends. It depends on where I'm at and if I really want. But to be fair, I know how I can navigate the conversations anyway, so that's not even a bad thing. But yeah, usually the first thing people say is, "Oh yeah, I don't eat that much meat anyway." But I've never asked them if they eat meat in the first place. I'm just saying, you've asked me a question, I'm telling you what I do. But people are always quick to defend themselves or express that they only eat this and only eat that. But this is me being so genuine. I really couldn't care less. Like, and that's not in a bad way. It's just that, I really genuinely like accept everyone for who they are, what they do, what they want to do. Like, if that's what you enjoy, that's what you enjoy. That's what you want to do, that's what you're gonna do. Like, I genuinely do not care. You could eat pigs, you could eat ants, you could eat cockroaches, you could eat cats, you could eat dogs. Like, if that's what you like and that's what you want to do, like, you do that. But for me, I'm just living my own journey, doing my own thing, following no one's rules, living by my own rules in terms of consumption, sharing what I do, expressing what I do online for the most part, because when I'm out and about, people probably have no idea what I'm doing or what I'm doing. So yeah, that's it really. But I'm gonna leave it here, and I just want to say, have a one, and I'll catch you on the next video.